Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Jaleesa Reeds and this is your space for Black books, real life, and everything in between. And today I want to talk about the evolution of myself as a reader because so much has changed. Really, honestly, and truly in the last 2 years, so much has changed about me as a reader and I'm noticing it and I'm wondering if I know I'm not the only person, but I just feel like we don't be talking about it enough. Okay. So I've always been a reader and I feel like it's important to start there. My mother was a huge reader. She had us in the library every Friday. So I started off reading like Babysitter's Club, Amelia Bedelia, like all of those books, went up to the Sweet Valley Highs. I read my first Beverly Jenkins book when I was like 10, snuck that into a library haul. That really kicked off my love of like romance. But I think the first book I was ever like utterly obsessed with was The Watsons Go to Birmingham. There was something about that book that I just loved. Okay. And I read that book the same year that the Spike Lee documentary about the four little girls came out. And so like that, I was just obsessed. Okay. I was like, yes, give me everything like this. This is what I want to read. Granted, I was in like fifth grade at the time. But I was making decisions. And so like I continued to read. I went through, I was reading Gossip Girl and the A-List and like the Click. And then I got into like all the Black books. So like the Drama Highs, the Coldest Winter Evers, the Eric Jerome Dickies, the Zanes, the Elin Harrises. I had my Sharon C. Cooper and my Brenda Jackson and my Beverly Jenkins. Like I had my romance folks. I had my street lit. I was all in those streets. And then I went to college. And like I said this before, I was either going to read for my degree or I was going to read for pleasure, but both were not happening. So I really stopped reading. And it's really funny because I did read Twilight while I was in undergrad. And I also read the Divergent series while I was in undergrad. But what really got me heavy back into reading was 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah. I don't know. Christian and Anna, like in 2012, I was eating that shit up. Looking back on it now, those books aren't good. And I'm comfortable saying that. Like I enjoyed them. I would read them. If I read them today, I would probably still enjoy them. But I can also say like they're not super great. And that's okay. Not every book is going to be great. That really kind of got me into like all the way back into reading. And so that was also, it was 2012. That was also when like reading on your phone was popular. And I think at the time I had an Android. So this was before like Kindle Unlimited. And I don't even know if the Kindle was out then. I actually need to do some research. I don't know if the Kindle was out in 2012 or not. But I was reading on my phone and I had Google Play Books and it's so crazy. I'm going to show y'all and I've never showed anybody this before. I'm going to show you my Google Play, my playbooks library. It is very white in here. Okay. Like, do y'all see white? Just white. Child, I was reading Rebecca Yarros. It's some Penelope Douglas. Oh, Maya Banks. Like it was just there's a lot of authors I probably wouldn't read now. No, don't get me wrong. Some of the books in this playbook store, oh no, they still hit. But at that time, I was reading on my phone, so I was reading what was easily available. And then I got an iPhone and I went to iBooks, and it was kind of the same thing. It was mainly white books that I was reading because that's what I could find. And it was like, I don't remember the month, but I know it was 2016. I posted on Twitter. I was like, man, I really wish I could find some contemporary Black romance. And someone who I went to school with was like, you should try Christina C. Jones. And I found Christina C. Jones. And I have it too. This is what it looked like when I first read it. Getting Schooled by Christina C. Jones. This is my first Black indie romance book. And that introduced me to a world. Sorry, that's going to bother me. That introduced me to like a whole new world. That's how I found out about Kindle Unlimited. I was like, oh, I can just download the app and pay y'all $10 a month and I can just have 10 books at any time. That's super great. And so really from 2016 until 2025, I've been in a romance haze, and I'm going to say this. I think that you have to read what you want to read. And so if you only want to read romance and urban fiction, honey, as long as you're reading, that's what I want you to do. But last year, like at the beginning of 2025, I was like, okay, I love Romance Down. She's always going to be number one for me, but I want a little bit more. Not even more. I don't know that saying I want more is the right word. I wanted something different. I didn't want everything to end with a happily ever after, even though and it's easy to say that. In practice, I really do be wanting everything to end in a happily ever after. Romance will always be home, but last year I was introduced to Black historical fiction books, and I really was one of those people. I was like, I don't want to read historical fiction because I'm Black and it's all trauma. And like, I hate when people say that about urban fiction or urban romance, but I was saying the same thing about historical fiction, and I was wrong. And I'm woman enough to admit that that was incorrect. Because I have read so many amazing historical fiction books. And what it's made me realize is that our stories deserve to be told. And yes, I understand that this is fiction, but when you are coming from a place where your ancestors were not allowed to learn to read or write, you're going to have to kind of take the stories as you can get them. And so I love historical fiction. I've gotten into fantasy a bit more. Granted, romantasy is my preference. But I'm liking like world building and magic systems and like figuring those things out. So like reading outside of the romance genre has been really, really fun. It's something that I plan to do more of. Like I built a summer reading list. And I think only 2 of them have any kind of romantic anything involved. And I don't even know that I can necessarily call those books romance books, because I think they're more like women's fiction or historical fiction. But I'll tell y'all that summer reading list at a later date. But yeah, so my tastes have changed and they have evolved. And I'm also craving stories or genres that I've never craved before. Like if you were to tell me in 2018 that I was going to want to read historical fiction, that was going to like love Zeal by Morgan Jerkins or The Seven Daughters of Dupree by Nikisha Elise Williams, I'd be like, okay, girl, sure. Like I wouldn't have believed you. But when I tell you those 2 books specifically will always stand out to me. Like if you make me write a list of historical fiction, those 2 gonna definitely be top 5, maybe even top 3, might even be number 1 and number 2. I'm still building that category up. The other thing that is changing, it's not really changing. I'm trying to change it. I am an e-reader. Okay. I am a Kindle girly down. It's just very easy for me. I read on my phone for 5 years and then I got carpal tunnel in both wrists. So I had to put the phone down, but I picked up my Kindle and I had a Kindle stand and I got the clicker. It's just so much easier and I can just lay back and just click on my book and I don't have to do anything. But I be buying all these, y'all see all these books behind me. Okay. I clearly buy physical books. And so there are a lot of books that are just sitting here waiting for me to read them. And I don't want to read them because they are physical, but I have to get back in the habit. I used to love the feel of a book, love the smell of a book, love to try to turn those pages. And I do think that annotating books is really cool. Like I have a ton of highlights and annotations in my ebooks. I want to do the same thing with my physical books. And audiobooks. You know, first of all, over here on this page, every single day, audiobooks are reading. So if you don't feel that way, I'm so sorry. You're wrong. Don't be ableist. Don't be an ableist. Audiobooks are reading. And I did not think that I would enjoy audiobooks, but the way these narrators give life to the words on the page, it's really something else. There are like historical fiction and fantasy books. My preference to read them is via an audiobook. Historical fiction, it just feels like someone is telling me, like it feels like I'm sitting with my ancestors and they're telling me the story. And I really, really love that. And with fantasy, it's just easier for me to keep up with if someone's telling it to me as opposed to me reading it with my eyes. I do immersive read a lot, but I got so many audiobooks in between Audible and Libro FM. It's a lot of audiobooks that I still need to get into, and I'm going to get to them. The best thing about reading is like books are timeless. As long as you have access to them, you will be able to keep up with them. What else has changed as far as my reading? I think I've become a more critical reader, which very much sometimes I'm just here for a good time. But a lot of times now, like, I'm here for a good time, but I also want a good book. And it's been interesting seeing what I still consider to be a good book compared to what I considered a good book was 10 years ago. Like, if I go back and look at some of the books I was reading in 2016, I don't think that I would enjoy them. Like, some of those 5 stars really should have been 3 stars. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think as you grow and as you evolve and your perspective changes, that also changes how you receive things. I learned how to DNF about a year and a half ago. And I think that's been the most powerful change as far as my reading is concerned, because I really did used to suffer through a book. I was like, I done started it. Like, I need to see it all the way through. I need to see what happens at the end. And what I learned is don't why? It's too many books out here that I would enjoy that I could spend time reading as opposed to a book that I'm not having a good time with. Like, if you're not enjoying that book, put it down. Go pick up a book that you're going to enjoy. Like, you don't have to read a book. You don't have to read every book. And also, a soft DNF exists. Like, there are some books that I'm like, it's not bad. I don't know that I'm loving it, but I do want to see it through. I'm just not in the mood to read it right now. And I can put it down and I can come back and pick it up at a later date. So y'all will be going on this journey with me. Okay. I'm going to read these damn physical books. I'm going to read these physical books. I'm excited to, get further into genres. I think I'm ready to tackle like high fantasy. Black high fantasy, because y'all know it's black books over here all day, every day. If you have any recs for any like black high fantasy books, please leave them in the comments. Other than that, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with me. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.